Welcome to the Best of Brighton. This is our new series called The Untold Veteran Story. The first one to tell his story is Gerald Rupp. Gerald, take it away.
Let me start at the beginning with my wife's family, because there's a big history there. Her father, my actual father-in-law, served in a Marine Corps in the First World War. Move on from there, she had three brothers who served in the Army, one in Germany, two of them in Vietnam. Then move on from there, we have three grandsons who served, two in the Marine Corps, one 13 years, another one 14 years, and an Army Ranger who got out of the service some time ago. Family history for this military family starts with my father, who served in the Second World War, and he was a POW during the Second World War, German POW during the Second World War. I was in the Navy from 60 to 63, and my older brother served in the Marine Corps Reserves, and he did the Marine Corps Reserves because he was involved with the Detroit Red Wings, and they were going to draft him, and the Red Wings didn't want that, so they pulled some strings with the general, and they got him in the Marine Corps, and he served 6 months in the Marine Corps, and then he got out and did his weekend duty, well, in the summertime when he wasn't playing hockey. Okay. My service in the Navy was from 60 to 63, and it was Naval Reserve, and I got a medical discharge from the Navy in 1963, and my discharge was actually November of 63, and it was quite a story. It was in the Marine Corps, in the Reserves, I mean. And I was in high school when I joined the Reserves, and there was myself and three other guys in my class in senior year of high school who served in the Reserves. And during the Cuban Missile Crisis, the Shore Patrol used to come pick us up in a Jeep and take us down to Brodhead Naval Armory. And at Brodhead Naval Armory, we would process all the paperwork for everybody who was being deployed to the blockade south of Florida when the Russians were trying to put missiles in Cuba. Yeah, let me move on to my father. This isn't going to take a half hour. Okay. My dad tried to get into the Navy because he had a high and low pressure operator's license, boiler operator's license. But the Navy wouldn't take him because he had three children at home and a pregnant wife. So he went back home again and went back to work, and 30 days later he was drafted. Well, he grew up in a German-speaking household, and he spoke fluent German and understood fluent German. But he never told the Army that he did, and when he was deployed, he was in the second wave. When he was in the Battle of the Bulge, he was captured along with a couple thousand other American soldiers. He eventually wound up in Auschwitz, of all places, and he was there with 6 other American soldiers. The Germans found out when he was in a POW camp that he could cook and bake. So, and the Germans in Auschwitz didn't trust the Jews, so they wanted American POWs to cook for them. And my dad had the advantage over everybody else in the camp because he understood German. He knew exactly what they were talking about, and he knew that what was coming, when it was coming, and what was going to happen. And when he eventually got out, Auschwitz was liberated in '45 by the Russians, and he said the Russians actually treated him worse than the Germans did. But he spent some time in a hospital in Philadelphia and finally came home sometime in about 1946.
Hi, I'm Mark Shea, and this is Body by Mark. Here we do a complete line of repairs, collision repairs, anything at all that happens in an accident, we can fix it. We also do restoration repairs, and there's not a lot of shops around here that do it. We're working on a 2009 Jeep Wrangler. It's a TJ, and we are replacing a frame rail, which is very common on these. If you need an estimate, I'll even come to your house and do it for you.
Okay, here we are with some of the memorabilia that I have, mine and my father's. Here is his prisoner of war sticker from World War II. We have a Swedish bayonet that he was allowed to bring home. Some of his decorations are right here that he had. The rest of his decorations are here with his flag, and my nephew Tommy, who served in the Army, my brother Pat's son, has the rest of his decorations here in the picture. And then there's myself in uniform, my dad and my mom in uniform, my brother in uniform. His helmet that he was allowed to bring home, it's not his helmet, that's actually a German helmet. And I wish it had the swastika on it, but it doesn't. Okay, and here is my discharge from the United States Navy. Okay. But what he was allowed to bring home was the helmet and the bayonet and his canteen. And this is I've had these things for quite a while. You can see the canteen's kind of beat up a little bit. The red paint is from part of his uniform. I feel in Best of Brighton it's very important to tell these stories of military history in certain families. It's important because people need to realize that freedom is not free, and it takes an awful lot of stress from a family. When my dad was a POW, my mother got the letter that, and we still have that letter, that my dad was just missing in action. Not that he was a POW, it was probably a year and a half to 2 years after she got that first letter that she was identified that he was alive and that he was a POW and that he would be released soon after he got out of the hospital in Philadelphia. So those stories are very important for veterans families, and for other people who never served to realize that serving is service. And it's important that you understand that it means an awful lot to an awful lot of people, not just family.
Best of Brighton. He just finished talking to my husband about his family and the military connections. I have a little bit of connection. I have two brothers that served in Vietnam. My ex-husband served in Vietnam and passed away about 10 years ago from Agent Orange. I also was very active in the Women's Auxiliary for years. I'm a lifetime member. In the 70s, when they came back from Vietnam, they were offered a $500 bonus, and I did VA work or volunteer work up in Howe at VA Affairs, which I don't even think it's there anymore. So I, for a long time, was very, very active. I'm very supportive of our vets, of course, and always will be. As a nurse, I've worked with many vets and helped their families, and I just want to thank all of our vets and all that they've done for our country and for their sacrifices and service.